Hi. It's me, Yenna. You remember me, right? You were really nice to me before, and, my mum hasn't come back yet. She might come later. I don't think she's coming. Could we maybe stay here?
Yes! We can play Wanna-Cup!
Yes! You've got a fire and everything! I can cook really good! Whatever you want! Thank you, thank you!
Baldur's Gate at last. We should find Sharess's caress. Voss will be waiting. The air grows ever warmer. The hum of life within it louder. It may yet hatch, though not soon by my estimation. In its heat lives stimulation, and in its throbbing, exhilaration. An effigy of Githyanki future, incubated inside a fragile shell. Only if you want me to roast you over a campfire, using my blade as a spit. But it is true that I feel some manner of responsibility for this unhatched whelp. After we free Orpheus, we can revisit the matter. If the egg hatches beforehand, well, we will shield it from the Lich Queen's zealots. Whatever may come, I will not let Vlaakith poison the fledgling with lies. A camp once visited by a scheming devil is no safe haven for the unhatched. It has afforded us as much disquiet as it has rest. Leave the egg with me. There's no need for further discussion.
Incredible to be back. My home. My city. Baldur's Gate is where I first raised a glass in toast at the tender age of 14 and got so tipsy from wine, I puked in Dillard Portier's bushes. It's where the flaming fist chased me after I'd stolen a peach from a cart in the Wide. I got a good chewing out over it too. It's where my father taught me to hold a rapier, to read books of lore, to know right from wrong. It's been 7 years since I left. It's no paradise, but it's home, and it's worth saving. And you? The city's yours too, after all. How's it feel to be back? No one knows better than I do the deep shadows haunting Baldur's Gate. But I also know you can find the light if you know where to look. And this I promise, you can always look to me.
Worm's Crossing, the gaping maw of the city. Nature has little control over what happens beyond that bridge. I have. He speaks to me during my nightly meditations. He is well, and Oliver also. At times they are one, and at others they divide. Easier for playing, perhaps. And the land thrives also. I doubt you would recognize it. Perhaps one day, you and I can both return and see it for ourselves.
Civilization beckons at last. It's no water deep, but Baldur's Gate is a respectable runner-up. Or at least a close third.
The next urchin that tries to pick my pocket will lose its hand. Half of the children here are already mutilated by poverty and starvation. I am reminded of the Brehren, the stench streets of Menzoberranzan, where the sick and the outlawed make their homes. Despite the destitution, there is profit and opportunity to be found in such places, if one is willing to wade through the squalor. Yes. I only know it through history books and hearsay. A city of murder and grief. I expect it will live up to its legend.
Keeping very well, I hope? Look after my angel, of course. She's been through more than I can bear to think about. 100 years in the Shadowfell. 100 years being murdered by Sharans over and over. It fills me with a rage I can hardly contain. She's a formidable woman, my Aelin. But no one could escape such horrors unscathed. She's in my hands now, and I intend to help her through whatever's to come. We'll both of us stand by you when the time comes to put down the horror that threatens this city. We are your allies, for life. I mourn the man I knew. He was wonderful. He raised me to serve Selûne as my mother, rest her soul, had wished. He was everything to me, all my life. When an emissary of Selûne came to our little town, we were elated. Dame Aelin, daughter of the Moon Maiden herself. This was different. It was like I could see my fate in her eyes. Lucky for me, she felt the same way. But my father was skeptical. Aelin is immortal, after all. I understand it's strange. There's an imbalance between us, certainly. But I suppose loving Aelin felt the same as loving myself. It was natural. Then... And this is where I still need answers. I died. I'm not sure how, why, but all was black, black, black. Next I knew, I was being jolted awake. I smelled musty air, I saw shadows. And then my father's face. So changed. So hideously warped. He told me we'd be together now. Said Aelin was dead. I couldn't speak. Could only run. I found last light within the shadows. Made a shelter there. Prayed my father wouldn't find me. By the time Jaheira came, I'd pieced together just enough to know I'd been dead 100 years. That my father was the source of the horrors that plagued my home. He's gone now. But I suppose the man I knew died when I died. The man he became, that wasn't the father I knew. The one I loved so very much.
Come to bask in the glow of the Moon Maiden's sword? Be most welcome. I am free from my bonds, but not my duty. The dead 3 are risen. The dead 2 remain. You must face them. I will help. Our thoughts are as one, my friend. You must face the Chosen of Bane and Baal. I will do my part to see them laid low.
Watching gods. But I never thought I would be happy to see the city again. Much less to smell it. The Harper safe house I spoke of is on the bridge at Worm's Crossing. Danthelon's dancing axe. Information. The Chosen have a head start on us. I'd like to know what they've done with it. You think me lonely? In truth, I prefer travel in a small pack such as this. Unburdened by numbers, we're free to act rather than react. A little like the old days. With allies every bit as peculiar. Give or take a few tadpoles. Would you? In time, then. Perhaps once you found a rocking chair for me to doze off in. That speaks well of your taste. I've heard my share of bad ballads about things I never did. If you have questions, ask. Just don't expect my answers to rhyme. It was Baal alone we faced in our time. And bad as that was, he had no elder brain for a lapdog then. Help won't come from the history books, or from any old tales I can spin you. This is your story to write. There. Have I fulfilled my role as your wise and wizened elder? Don't tell me which. Against all life experience, I will choose to assume the best. Ask it. More than I would like. In my youth, I was a brief and very much unwilling member of a colony's hive mind. I felt the way they think, saw the world as they do. Foul, unnatural creatures who find the foulness in us and twist it to their will. But then, who am I speaking to? You have far more experience than I. I believe you. You remind me of another I knew, marked by forces beyond their control. The gods can grant power or strip it away, but so long as your will remains, you have the only weapon you need.